Hi, this is Steve Matley. Today I'm with Kerry Bowman. He is the pastor of the Awakening Church in the Temecula Valley area. How would you look at the culture nationwide, and what do you see as the culture locally?
All of our cultures that exist within America, I think in many ways are transient, they're changing, they're transitioning, and we need to be able to identify exactly with what's happening. But then you sort of peel back the layers and you start to realize with that whole human aspect, there is that sense of searching and longing and looking for purpose that exists with everybody. There is a need for us to be able to identify the brokenness that's maybe not so visible in people's lives, the lack of connectedness, I think, in family. I think there's more skepticism today in culture, even skepticism related to things of the church, of the Christian faith, but there's still the hunger and the looking for meaning and purpose that's in all things. I don't want to ever be presumptuous of a culture. I want to study it. I want to be able to contextualize, be able to minister in God's power and His grace into those environments. And I'm just really sort of on that curve here. But I will have to say this, I'm taken back by the level of what I perceive sometimes as the brokenness in communities that's maybe not immediately visible. But when you begin to talk to people, there's disappointments. There are disappointments about their own life, disappointments how they've fallen short. There's people giving up that just have got into an existence mode rather than looking with optimism about what their life can become. And so I want us to be able to encourage not only those individuals, but to be able to see how the gospel of Christ is able to bring hope and transformation to them.
Is the church relevant today in our culture?
The church is relevant. It may not be relevant in the sense that it's historically been seen or stereotyped sometimes in our culture. That's the purpose. But are you living in a vibrant, life-giving community of people that can support you and give you hope and purpose in life?
Now we can communicate with anybody almost anywhere in the world at any time of the day, 24/7, all the time. Wouldn't that make us more connected?
I think the danger is it has to do, I think, sometimes with depth, because there's a superficialness that can come through social media and some of the technology, and a lot of times the postings on Facebook are just the wins and the exciting things happening, but you're not out there posting on Facebook some of the pain and the discouragement going on in your life, physically, emotionally, or otherwise. And so you get sort of a false picture. You get a caricature of who that person is. I believe the enemy is moving us away from really close relationships of depth and transparency and authenticity, encourage one another. And technology can help with that and staying connected, but can also provide a facade, if you will, to really the deeper thing. You can watch somebody preach on the web or through a television program. You can get information, you can study on your own, but it's only when you come together in community that you're able to gain some of the deeper riches of what Christ intended for us to have.
Are the Christ followers as the church, are they impeding the progress of society to reach the higher goals, or are they the saviors of a society that may be going down the wrong path?
And we need to be coming together and being able to encourage one another, take each other's giftings and interests, even one church to another, be able to lean on each other as to what we're able to do, and move forward to raise a society and a culture to higher levels of fulfillment and purpose and meaning and health. There's been an impact, a positive impact on culture. And you can see it related to, where do a lot of hospitals come from, a lot of the higher education institutions, those kinds of things. You cannot deny the impact that the Christian faith has had in making cultures better.
We have this idea that bigger is better, bigger, stronger, more powerful. As you see the future of the church, the Christian church in the United States, where do you see that trend going, and which is preferable?
Jesus is interested in reaching every person for Christ, and a healthy church is going to be a growing church. As a church grows, it needs to stay authentic and sincere. The relationships need to stay intact. The truth message needs to be clear. We bring a lot of what's around us in culture into every season of history. I am interested in people finding a place that they can identify with, that they can grow with, We're good for certain kinds of people at this church, and there's a church down the road that's better for another kind of person maybe, and we work together.
The biblical mandate, of course, is for unity in the church, becoming one, and yet we have all these different churches and denominations and styles. And is that a positive or a negative?
If the diversity of the different kinds of churches, different denominations, if you will, keeps us away from understanding that there's one true church, there's really only one true church, the Church of Jesus Christ. We shouldn't be fighting at one another. We may have differences in some minor areas of doctrine or beliefs, that kind of thing, but on the essentials of the faith, there is unity, and we need to stay unified on those, and we need to let the creativity of God through His people bring about a vast diversity of different kinds of movements. And so I think some of the diversity also is God's way of taking His message and His hope around the world.